Well, a vulgar display from pro-Palestinian activists in Vancouver, Canada. Both the United States and Canada have been swept up in this coast-to-coast, these anti-Semitic protests, especially troubling considering 82% of Canadian Jews report feeling less safe up north after the October 7th attacks. Now, this is according to a survey by the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs. Michael Charbon, he joins us now he hosts the Charbon Report. Great to see you again. Happy Sunday. Michael, give us an idea. I mean, you got these conservatives in Canada. They're calling for investigations into some of these anti-Israel protests. But I mean, what we just watched, very shocking. We've seen this play out here in New York City as well. Why is Canada getting swept up in this strain of anti-Semitism?
So the group behind this, John, is called Samadou. The group is suspected of being the financial organization for the Popular Front of the Liberation of Palestine. It's called the PFLP. The PFLP is listed as a terrorist group in Canada and many other countries around the world, John. They're responsible for shootings, suicides, hijackings, bombings, even mass shootings since the 1970s. And imagine that the founder of Samadou was deported from Germany and denied entry into the EU. Guess where the leader of Samadou would seek refuge? In Trudeau's Canada. Then one of the leaders of Samadou appeared on Iranian state television stating that Hamas's action on October 7th was heroic and brave. I mean, a Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, rose in the Canadian House of Commons and demanded Canada's foreign minister designate Samadou as a terrorist organization, legitimately under the Canadian Criminal Code. After refusing to apologize to the minister, Poilievre was expelled from the House of Commons for the rest of the day's session. And consider, under Trudeau's Liberals, hate crimes are up 251% in Canada. On Yom Kippur, there was a shooting in a young girl's Jewish school. I mean, it's alleged that 700 Iranian agents are operating unchallenged in Canada. And you know what Trudeau said? This is not who we are. Many Canadians, John, they're asking, where's the moral leadership of our country? I mean, Trudeau's funding UNRWA now, and we know what UNRWA's done. Some of their people are supposedly culpable in October 7th. We saw the footage. And one final thing, though, I do want to say, is, he's also funding, this is another thing, it just drives me nuts. Trudeau government just announced that they're funding Lebanon to the point of $15 million. But there are many Iranian and Persian expats in Canada who escaped the violent and racist Islamist Iranian government, who are hardworking taxpayers. They object to Samadou. And Pierre Poilievre, our Conservative, said if he's elected, he will expel Samadou and will also determine that the Houthis are a terrorist organization. Time for change, John.
Yeah, big time. And you just mentioned him, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. This is what he had to say about this. I want to play that soundbite for our viewers. Watch.
Common sense conservatives are calling for the government under Section 83.03 of the Criminal Code to ban Samadou now. And let's bring home safety and security and peace to our streets. Let's unify our people. Let's end the crime by locking up the dangerous repeat offenders. Let's secure our borders. Let's keep terrorists out of our country.
So for our viewers, that man right there could potentially take over Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's job. He's, as you mentioned, every week, Poilievre is getting more and more support. How is he being perceived after making those comments in Canada?
Well, he's talking the moral code that people are upset about. Not only Jewish people, just average Canadians, when you see these demonstrations. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that is treasonous if you want to really talk about it. And Canada's got to get their moral code in order. They've got to stop funding these elements. And there is a possibility that there is some subliminal influence there. I mean, you've got the same kind of liberal democratic attitude that's moving there, that they're afraid to upset a potential voting populace. And now Pierre Poilievre is in the lead. Trudeau's Liberals now are in third place, and if you can imagine, the Bloc de Québécois is now in second.
I may be saying this wrong. B'nai B'rith of Canada, urging Canada now, because we talk about the border, right? We have people that are coming in from the north and the south. We know that's a big problem. But also, they're looking for more of a stricter vetting process for people that are going into Canada. But is that as big of an issue as the media is making it out to be, that they're coming in from? Does Canada have, I guess, what's the situation like with how they vet people when they come into Canada? I always thought they do just as good a job. You've got the TSA agents there. But should more be done? Or are people slipping through the cracks in Canada, Michael?
Of course they're slipping through the cracks. It's this whole refugee asylum kind of thing. I mean, just imagine, and I've said this again and again, when Trump gets in, the border leakage of the north is going to be huge. We're not prepared for this. And I don't care what anybody says, we are going to have a real problem up here with this. And they're not doing that. I mean, we've seen, look at the Pakistani national who went to the States and was doing all that problems. I mean, it's going to be serious, John.
Very serious. And we saw what happened. They foiled a terrorist plot here for Election Day here in the United States. So it's good that the officials were able to get that. But, I mean, we see this happen, open borders, and what the potential consequences are of it. Michael Chabon, always a pleasure. Love having you on Sundays and giving us that report from up north. All right, that's going to do it here for Sunday Report. Thank you so much for watching us. Stay with us. Sunday Agenda starts right now with Lydia Serrani.